think one of the things that appeals to me most about Be Thou My Vision is that it's a prayer. It's a prayer for every day. It addresses not only the concerns for our earthly existence, be thou my vision, thou my best thought by day or by night, my treasure thou art, those are all earthly things. But it also addresses a hope for what may be yet to come in a next life. The whole third verse is that. And this isn't a big praise text, although there's praise in it, but it's one that is deeply, profoundly personal. And I like that we're singing it. There's that idea that those who sing pray twice, and we're really covering that base with this hymn.
This hymn is from an ancient Irish tradition, and it was then translated into English in the early 1900s. And one of the things I love about when we sing the old hymns in church is I love the idea that so many generations of people before me have also sung them. And I also think that presents a little bit of a challenge, because when something gets translated from one language to another and then goes through many generations of time, sometimes the language isn't language that we still always use. And so when I read the words, "Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me save that thou art," I think some of the words are a little tricky, and then also some of the grammar. And so I really have to stop and think about, what does that mean? And I think when I really reflect further on this song, what it's talking about most of all is the idea for me of connecting to that quiet center that is inside of me. And when I connect to that quiet center, I am also connecting with what some people call creative force of the universe, or positive flow, or love, or what we call in our Christian tradition, God.
I think one of the things that may not be so obvious on the surface of this, and something that I had never really noticed, and I've known this hymn for a long time, is that there are several references to the heart. There's one in each verse, and I'd never noticed that before. But in looking at this text more deeply, it really drives home again just how personal this is. This is a prayer of joy. It is a prayer of love. It is a prayer to the God that resides in each of us. And I mean, you can't get any more personal than that idea that, God is in us. God is in our hearts. God is in our souls. There's a part of God in each of us. And I think that that's what this hymn speaks to.
And I think one of the things that may not be obvious on the surface of this text is that when we connect into something bigger than us, then really, if we're all doing that and we all have that ability to do that, we are by definition really inextricably connected to each other. And that's one of the things I love about a church community, but it doesn't have to be a church community. It could be a civic community or a family. Those connections and being part of communities really remind us on a regular basis that we are connected. And I think then it becomes really important to think about that the words we use matter, how we treat each other matters, and whether that neighbor is somebody next door or somebody around the world, we all need each other, and the connections that we have really matter.
One of the things that really appeals to me about this tune, Slain, is that it's a folksy tune. It's not complicated, and the harmonies in our hymnal really help to highlight that. And I think it helps paint the text really well, especially in the third line down, where you've got this sort of wail, da 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 da. You've got to be kind of vulnerable to sing that in the way that it's supposed to be sung, and I think that supports the vulnerability of the prayerfulness of the text as well.
The music of this song, I don't know, I think it has this kind of warm, folksy song. It almost feels like it was meant to be sung in a group. And there again, when we sing these songs together in a group, in a community, it gives us that sense of connection. It gives me that sense of connection. And that's really one of the things I really love about the music of this particular song.
One of the things I love about this hymn is that when I was little, my mom used to play this in our house on the piano, and she'd sing it. So it's one of those hymns that really has a lot of nostalgia for me. But I think more than that, thinking about how it might have been consciously or not one of those songs that sort of shaped my early theology, the way that I think about God as this sort of very present parental figure, and a God that is very close to my heart, so that's one reason why I've always loved this hymn.